Okay, we are live for the chat with sisters. Hey, Bree.
Hello.
Woo,
Hey,
child.
hey, hey.
My eyes were glued to the screen.
Mine too. It got really good 20 minutes into the show. Well, actually, from start to finish, let me say that. Gary is hilarious. I
Yes, she
love
is.
everything. I was rolling. But it was a good episode. Good episode.
Tell me about it. I'm like, what in the world? That dude, I gotta give it to Cheeto. Cheeto is hilarious.
Yes, and his Mr. Rogers outfit. Yes, he is.
It's so silly.
With that medium sweater on.
Oh my goodness, girl. I was like, I mean, you talking about pushing the envelopes, but that's what a soap, so that's what a soap opera is supposed to do.
Yes, and he hit everybody's buttons. He called everybody G. He called Tima and Zach the hood rat.
I know, it was crazy. I was like, he is definitely trying to push buttons when it came to. So let you know what. Welcome you guys to Soap Corner Talk. It is Let's Talk. Oh gosh, hold on. Let's Talk Sisters Spilling the Tea with Bree and T. And I am T.
And I'm Bree.
Yep, and we gonna break down episode number 20 with the show Sisters, and I'm telling you, boy, it. All right, you know what? I know you probably got a lot to say,
Oh
so
yeah.
I'm gonna let you start off with what happened over at, shall I say, Gary's condo.
And people keep forgetting that fact that that's this man's house, and they keep saying, "You need to leave. You need to go before you get beat up." I'm like, this is this man's house. If anything, he can kick y'all out of the
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
But but from start to finish, he was like, "I'm gonna invite you guys all to the wedding." And then, well, the hood, except for Hood Rat Twins, he was referring to Zach and Zatia or Fatima. I was gone. And just the fact that he called them G Unit, and just the look on Andy's face, that is a
Mm-hmm.
look of stupidity. She got her shoulders like all up in a bunch. She can't just smile, and it just looks so awkward. And it was just so good. But she's playing her role. She's playing along with it. Everybody's trying to like pull her in and pull her away from him and everything. I'm like, she made her bed. She needs to lie in it.
Yeah, I
She got
mean,
a choice.
now she said that she couldn't figure a way out when she had that conversation with Fatima. And I'm like, yeah, you can. Just go talk to the feds.
Like you were doing when
Mm-hmm.
you saw what's that girl's name, Penelope, with
Mm-hmm.
witness protection. So you had the access, and they wanted to try to work with you. Had you said them this information, you would not be in this predicament. But once
Mm-hmm.
again, you're book smart, not street smart.
Yeah, girl, this whole thing could have been avoided. First of all, as they say, loose lips sink ships. Had that whole conversation. Now, granted, I gotta say, she didn't know Jordan's house was bugged. But they told her not to say anything, and the rest is history. And Jordan heard everything. And then his boy, that's still working there,
Mm-hmm.
is right up under his nose, setting him up, all hired by none other than Scary Gary.
Oh, scary Gary.
Yeah, that's what they
Uh,
were calling him the last several seasons. Even behind the scenes, DeVale and all of them called Cheeto Scary Gary.
and he plays into that role very well. He is a very talented actor. But I found it really funny how Maurice was calling this man zesty. He's like, he acting real zesty. I love it. I was like, oh Lord.
Yeah, here we go.
That's a
Mm-hmm.
whole other conversation. But at the same time, this man had this overly tight sweater on where you can see his heartbeat. So I don't know no more. It was hard to really tell, especially after the last couple of episodes. Gary was asking for a description of what Andy was wearing from that man, coming from that man's deep voice. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's something. I don't know exactly, but it's definitely something.
Okay, let's keep it going with Andy. So then, because we'll take it pretty much by each of the girls and then we'll separate it by the guys. So the other part of this storyline with Andy is now that everything is out in the open, she agreed in front of Gary and in front of her girlfriends, meaning the sister circle, excluding Fatima. She didn't tell them anything, but she said Fatima was like, look, I know you better than anybody. I went through this stuff with you and Gary, which is she's correct. Over the last several seasons, she was basically the main one that really went through this mess, especially at the office and any other guy that she dated, including Paris and Robin. Gary always had some interference with it. And who was there? Fatima. She actually broke
Yeah,
down and told Fatima everything, but Fatima sound like she want to get rid of Gary permanently. Want him pushing up daisies.
I mean, she's like a good bodyguard would. I mean, good for her. Um, at this point, especially with the interaction that Andy and Gary had, I think she kind of liked it a little bit. But she shed that one little tear and cried to her bodyguard. But I think Fatima, she's going to really pull out all the stops and at least call her cousin or something to try to get the job done. Otherwise, I mean, Gary has the police. He has her place bugged. He has. I wouldn't put it past to say to have Fatima's place bugged. To be honest,
Mm-hmm.
he has his ducks in a row to have eyes and ears on everything. So, if anything, he's a couple of steps ahead of Fatima while she's thinking that she can try to get rid of this man.
I know. And I mean, it's just, I'm wondering if she is the cousin of Madam. So I'm wondering, will she dig into her family trick bag and decide, can you delete that person, please? I can't get to them from this part of the platform. Do you have, yeah, you do got rights in here. You see
Yeah.
it? Yeah, you got it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, cool. Um, Anywho, girl, he's still,
Yeah.
yeah, see if you can delete the comment. Can you block him?
I
Okay.
done, so
Okay.
it's okay.
Okay.
Don't have to worry about it no more. Bye.
Bye. All right. Listen, girl, I mean, we do more than one soap on this channel. There's a bunch of other folks everywhere. All right. Um, Back to Andrea Barnes. I mean, she felt comfortable telling Fatima. Do you think she's going to feel comfortable? Because at the end of the episode, Jordan wants to know everything, which is that corner picture. Do you think she's going to tell him?
No.
Mm-hmm.
No. She going to do what she does. She's going to cry to herself. She's going to go along with it. She went along with the wedding plans, or at least talking to the event planner.
Mm-hmm.
And we're probably going to see a wedding, more than likely, because this is Tyler Perry still.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to follow through with it. I think she's really going to marry Gary. And I think probably by next season, this is what she's going to try to get herself out that marriage. But this woman gave this man her panties, and that was the creepy part. She said that it was her time of the month, right?
Mm-hmm.
This man still asked for her panties.
That's what I'm talking about, pushing the envelope. That's gross.
Yeah, that was a bit much. I mean, even after, I mean, I don't know if people are into that. If you are, okay, but I mean that was a bit too much, and she gave it to him.
Yeah, I mean, he feels at this point he has that much power over Andy because he knows that she don't want nothing to happen to Jordan or his campaign or to him as a person, that she's willing to do just about anything, which probably is going to include sleeping with him, do anything to keep this man pacified. And
Mm-hmm.
the problem with this is that he gonna have her doing all kinds of things, which is unfortunate because it could go beyond, just the whole sexual chemistry between them. It could even get to the point where he want her to commit crimes.
How would she? I mean, he could be doing that underneath her nose right now, especially since he has the place bugged. He could have been popping up in and out of that house since it's his, getting information. He probably could have had her social security number. Any information, he has access to that house. He could already be setting up crimes
Mm-hmm.
for her. So she's stuck. She was just exactly what she told Fatima too. Look, I'm stuck. Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
you put yourself in this predicament. You were working with the FBI.
Right. Why didn't you just say, get in touch with the FBI and say, I'm being blackmailed right now? This man is threatening to take out Jordan, destroy his life if I don't do A, B, C, D, or E. They got him. That in
Yeah.
itself, that's black. Am I correct? Is that blackmail?
Yes. And he's making threats. He grabbed her by the wrist, everything. And she's just, okay, Gary, fine. Girl, you had the access. How is it Penelope is fine, relaxing, and in witness protection, but she's still choosing to go to work, still choosing to drive the car that he got her, still living and laying up in his house, still,
Mm-hmm.
and then crying over to Fatima and being like, "Protect me, please!" Like I'm so over Andy. Like she's gonna follow through with this wedding. There's just
Mm-hmm.
no way she's gonna get out of it. And I think Jordan is going to end up showing up, and then he's going to witness those two getting married. That's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Oof. Well, she gonna get what's coming to her. She should have cut that dude loose 4 5 seasons ago, because she didn't been through so many. Well, she chose to go through so many different things with Gary because she could never let him go. And then when she finally let him go, and she moved on to Jordan, she tried to cut him loose by moving on with Robin, and then he left. And then now Jordan comes into the picture, and then, of course, Scary Gary wants to have free reign over her life, but you know what? It is what it is. It's just unfortunate that this is the situation that she chose to be in, and she's choosing not to get the FBI involved.
Right. But you're going to get your bodyguard involved.
Right, you're going to tell
Okay, that's
Fatima, but you can't tell the FBI.
okay.
Yeah.
That makes a whole lot of sense from an attorney. Okay, that makes sense.
Right. All right, girl number 2. Let's talk about Karen. Now, Karen, she didn't have that much dialogue except that her baby shower pretty much ended abruptly thanks to Gary. But the other biggest thing is Pam. Pam is spending all her money out of that salon and making money, and then tells her, you can borrow it if you need to pay your liability insurance.
Ooh, Karen and I are two different breeds of women, seriously. First of all, Pam would never have worked for me. And that's the thing. Pam keeps forgetting, you're an employee under me, and you're housing your products underneath my business, utilizing my credit card. which I could sue you for. And you had the nerve to say, well, you can borrow some money. And then had the nerve to try to gaslight this woman and say, like, look, I'm going to make this money and then pay you off so you pay off your little credit cards. Excuse me?
Girl.
First, just the disrespect. And I know there's quite a few women that are like Pam. So that gets underneath my skin a lot. Just disrespectful. And Karen has been way too nice to this woman. How is it her mother even told her what last episode? Like, look, this is it. Pam is doing X, Y, and Z in your business.
Mm-hmm.
You need to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're inviting her to the baby shower, her promoting her business at your baby shower and everything. I'm like, come on, Karen. I'm glad that she's starting to kind of get a little bit of sense. I am, but at the same time, she should have never been an employee there.
Nope.
She's unloyal.
Nope. She shouldn't. She should have let her go. Now, as helpful as Pam has been in the past, the biggest thing is Pam was always a nosy busybody. Okay, fine. But when she brought her business and pretty much siphoning all of the contacts and everything else and showing up at people's jobs and selling stuff, she even said that Karen told her that, hey, you are annoying the other stylists. You need to figure out where to do your business somewhere else instead of in that salon.
Or better yet, you're fired. Since you're using my company credit card, now my stuff is past due, so where I can house my stuff, my business, and have my employees work here. You are going above and beyond as an employee. Had it been anybody else, she would have fired her. Girl. So I don't understand why Pam's still there.
Yeah, and the thing is the entitlement, because she don't see anything wrong with what she's doing. She's saying everybody is jealous. You never supported my dreams and my success. And it's like she allowing you to do business in her salon up to this point until she realized that, she's siphoning money out of the salon.
I don't even think she was allowing it. It just that she just did what she wanted to do in that woman's business.
No, Karen allowed it because there were several times when she started this and she was like, all right, Pam, just don't do this. All right, Pam, just don't do that. She got to take accountability for that.
That is true. But it's the disrespect of all that. And Pam went to Karen's baby daddy for an investment.
Yep.
Like she is just overstepping everything and going to her friend's job to promote her business.
Right. And those ain't even her friends.
Right. Just the disrespect. And she's allowing this, and I'm not sure. I'm like, you got other friends. You don't need Pam whatsoever. What is she worth? She's not worth a damn. Yeah, clearly.
Like you said earlier, Karen need to fire her at this point, especially after use. Right, but she need to be gone. Bye. See you later. You didn't spend the money on my card. You overspent. And she was like, well, I did buy something for the salon. She was like, you bought a lamp and a table.
The point was, it wasn't her credit card. And she has no authority for those purchases anyway. And it was all for her business. Majority of those purchases were for her business. And then stuck Karen with the bill. Karen and I are two different breeds. Pam would have been bald before I would have addressed her about those bills.
Well,
because there is no way I would allow that to happen.
Well, again, it also comes down to Karen because Karen gave her that card. She's supposed to be overseeing all of the supplies that's coming in, paying out for this, that, and the third. She was supposed to be her assistant. And the thing is that she decided to overstep and take that money for her own. That's the problem with this. And when Karen, what she should have done is say, look, I need an accounting. It shouldn't even got this far. I need an accounting of what's going on over the last several months. This girl done bought so much stuff that she can't even pay her other bills in this facility.
Yeah. And and my thing is, she has Fatima, she has Danni. I mean, if she's scared to go after Pam, which who would do that? Then somebody needs to help step in and say, like, look, you need to get rid of her. Why is she here? I mean, even Maurice was like, look, she's disrespectful. She's hood. Even Hayden said, like, she's hood rat. Everything. Just disrespectful when it comes to that woman's business.
Yep.
It's distasteful.
Yep, I agree. I totally agree. Now, let's talk about Miss Sabrina.
I was so annoyed with this woman.
Yeah, but see, it's interesting at the 11th hour. Usually, when people make decisions at the 11th hour, usually either it's too late or will blow up in your face. So she tells him, here's the thing about Sabrina. And I don't know if you didn't get to see season 5 and 6. So during the time, well, I don't know. Have you seen those seasons?
I've been watching a little bit of 6.
Okay. So there was the time when she was accused of stealing from the other bank that she used to work from. And she went to prison, her and Maurice. And then there was this African guy who gave her $1.2 million to put toward bail for Maurice. And she took it thinking that it was free money. Nothing is free. And of course, there were stipulations with this. This man wanted to marry her, wanted to take her back to the country, and she wasn't trying to do that. And I'm thinking, like, you just can't think that somebody giving you something for free and nothing's going to come behind it. Well, let's fast forward to season 7. Just in this episode, just like her guy is telling her, this dude saying he's trying to help you out by being a donor, a sperm donor. But I don't think that's all he wants. Well, he don't want nothing. I don't think he like me. Girl, are you that naive?
Yeah, she is. That's why she and Andy are friends. They both think everything comes for free and they can do their lives however they choose to. This man is going to want to be involved. And clearly, since he went to the preview for next week, he went to the doctor's appointment even. I mean, all he had to do was just did it and give her the supply and call it a day.
Yep.
But he wants to be involved.
Yep.
And my thing is, what is his name? Not Devontae. It starts with a D though. I keep forgetting.
Davion or Damon or something like that. I don't know. Go ahead.
Either which way. Mr. Fine. Mr. Fine, he wants to be with her. He's clearly got a good job. He has interest in her. And he shares that same passion for family. Whereas Rich, when he was having a conversation with Tony, he was like, well, I want to be prepared. I wasn't thinking of having kids or anything. But this man clearly is ready, wants to have a family with her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even not knowing her.
Yep.
But he's interested in this woman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this man wants to go as far as to give you his seed and not know you.
Yeah, which means he's going to be conjoined to you for the next 18 plus years. And even, what is her guy name? I keep forgetting these names. Rich. Even Rich said, look, isn't he going to want to be a part of this kid's life? And then she was like, well, of course, if the child want to know who their father is, just as casual, you tell your man that I'm finna have a baby by another man. And I know...
She wants to see how this man...
Go ahead, what'd you say?
I said she wanted to see how that man was going to react. She's trying to guilt trip him.
Well, I know one thing. She always thinking that it's going to be free and easy. Oh, you're going to give it to me? Okay. That's what you're going to do? Okay. And then I can do what I wish and no strings attached. She thought the same thing with the African guy who gave her the $1.2 million to get Maurice bailed out. And sure enough, that man came back asking for something major. And then she want to be shocked. Wait, what? She thought that there was going to be free money, and I'm like, girl. And then here we go again. So I'm like, you know what, Sabrina? Yeah, you keep being as gullible as you trying to be. You cannot think that that man is not going to want to be with you. He going to try to finagle, oh, we're going to bond over the child, and eventually she might like me, and then we'll be in a relationship, and then we can raise the child together. He's backdooring this whole thing to get into a relationship with her.
Oh, absolutely. And he knows it's going to drive Rich crazy because he understands that male's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, why is Rich still involved with this woman who's trying to pursue to have another child? After this woman told you, yeah, I found a sperm donor and yes, I'm going to use him for these embryos. Mm-hmm. Right then, you should have cut that off and let that woman be, because she has no problem saying, I'm going to have this whole other man's baby.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to be in a relationship with her.
Yep.
It's kind of like Nick Newman, where Sally was pregnant with a whole other man's baby.
Exactly.
So, like, you're going to be perfectly fine sleeping with this woman while she's pregnant with this other man's baby? Come on now.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Ooh, Lord. Yeah, that whole thing is a hot mess. And she got on that phone and she like, oh yeah. So, because he said, I have my doctor's appointment. Everything checks out. How do you know? Just because he tell you that? And you going to run right down there.
And she don't know this man from a can of paint. He's big as he seems wonderful. I would just like for her to actually show a little bit more interest and at least want to go on a date, have a couple more interactions before she commits to having a child with this man. Whether she's in a relationship or not, you're still having a child with this man. Your genetics are going to be tied to a child together.
Well, I guess the issue is she's looking at him just like you would go to a sperm bank. I don't have to interact with you. I could just sign up, let them do the vetting process, which she said to Rich that they're going to send him through a vetting process. And then you're going to just, do your thing in a cup and they do the rest. But there is obviously an underlying agenda, because we saw next week's episode and he's touching her hand and now she want to look like, ooh, what's this? Girl, come on.
Exactly.
And Bree, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and Bree, she thinks that, and she still continues to go through with the process. This man had touched her hand and everything. And then we also see her at the doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But she feels he don't want him to be involved. Come on now.
Yeah. Go figure.
I mean, he told him where the location was for him to go to the doctor's appointment.
Exactly. Girl, please. All right.
I was going to say, I still don't understand why Rich, and that's the issue I have with Tony, too. Why are you trying to convince this man?
Well, we're going to get to the guys afterward.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, okay. We'll get to the guys because we got to do with Zach, Jordan, Hayden. Yep. Okay. And then we got Danni. Now, Danni was definitely ready for her man to come home. And he came home, jumped in that shower, bucket naked, got out. His phone was ringing. She's texting and sent him on his phone a booby picture. And Danni is not happy about that. What you think?
Tony needs to try to shut that down. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, that woman's not going to go anywhere as the mother of his children. And she's clearly trying to drive a wedge, but he has to shut that down. Granted, Danni should not have been in his phone. That's an invasion of privacy. At the same time, he is allowing this stuff to happen. He's in a sticky situation. And whatever mixed signals he's giving his ex-wife, clearly she's taken it so that she has the ability to send him those things.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm on Danny's side with this. His ex-wife is clearly trying to beeline straight to Tony, and it's just not okay. It's not right. But it just boils down to, Danny, do you want to deal with this going forward? Like, what future do you really see with Tony? Because if you're going to be with this man, that woman is not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, and the thing is, Tony was like, cause she said you need to check her on this, and he's like, I'm always checking her on this. Now, of course, we've never seen it, but just taking the word of the dialogue and whatever he was saying in this so-called storyline, he's been checking this woman, but she's not going to stop, and she knows, because the two of them have kids, that he's not going to be able to just shut his phone off, because she could be calling about the kids one time or another, right?
Right.
So even if he say, look, you cannot continue to send me photos like this, I'm in a relationship, you need to move on, you made your choice by being with somebody, now you want to come back and all of this, you need to only contact me for the kids. Even if he says all of that, she could still send him a sexy text.
And it sounds like she's been sending him several if he's constantly having to check her.
Mm-hmm.
So there's probably a lot that Danny don't know that's been going to that man's phone.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to kind of, I don't know, maybe, I think it might be time for him to put some legal parameters at this point, to where, hey, she sees the kids this time, I have the kids this time. If she gets deployed, I get the kids. But or unless these kids are big enough to where they can have their own phone. So if she wants to contact and get a hold of her kids, they can have their own phone and reach out to their mom, and vice versa. What's the purpose of really speaking to Tony unless it's like emergencies or like to exchange the kids? But if he's constantly having to put that woman in check, there might be some legal parameters that need to be in place at this point.
Yeah, but how do you, what if okay, so are you saying go to court to put a restraining against her sending certain text message? How would they do that?
Not necessarily a restraining order, but just like a court order in regards to the kids, because right now everything's kind of open and loose to where she can call whenever she chooses. It's kind of like summer, where she can kind of come and go as she pleases, and everything's kind of just very loose as far as like the arrangement goes. Whereas there's like something clear in paper, like, look, I have the kids. The only time we need to be contacting each other is if there's like an emergency. So, because that's really the only relationship they have, is just through the kids. He's not trying to have a friendship with her. He's trying to be cordial for the kids' sake. But she's overstepping that line. So it's not necessarily like a restraining order, nothing like that, but like an order in regards to those kids. Like, hey, when she has the kids, I won't contact her, won't do this, and let that be. And when I have the kids, she's not going to contact me. And she sends those things that kind of is showing that it's inappropriate. Something to that effect. But whatever he's been doing is not helping him.
I wonder, could exes file SA? Because that would be any unwanted, because at the job, right, is considered SA, or what is the word? I think it's another term for it, where someone make, or even that includes sending photos, blah, 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 unwanted advances. And it's considered, some type of problem. Is that a case when it comes to exes? Like, look, the only text messages by order, by law, the only text messages you can send is related to the kids. Anything of a nature that is uncomfortable would violate something.
I mean, if it's unwarranted, she's kind of harassing this
man.
Right. But what needs to happen is I mean, oh, how about this? He could block her and get a separate phone so his one of his kids can have it. So if she wants to get in contact and check on her kids, she can contact her kids, not this man. And if there's an emergency or whatever case is, the kids can pass the phone to Tony because she's not going to send no news or anything like that to the
That's
kids' phone.
right, right. That's true. So I don't know. Now the other thing is the conversation that Tony had with Danni about her being insecure. I don't think it's an insecurity issue. I think she just don't like the fact that your ex is sending booby pictures.
It's just disrespectful.
Exactly.
And this woman was disrespectful to that woman's face and saying that she's actively trying to pursue you. That's not an insecurity. That is blatant disrespect.
Exactly. I agree with that because this woman knows it's not like he's been lying to the ex saying, "Hey, I'm not seeing anybody." And they've been talking. You know that this man is in a relationship. You've met her. The kid's been over to her house. You know this. So she's being disrespectful by doing this, but she's also trying to undermine that relationship because she know most women will have a problem with that. So she's hoping that she could probably also use this not only to tempt Tony, but also to break up that relationship. Because think about it, look at what time of night it is. It's late over in the night and your phone blowing up. Who calling you that many times this time of night? So even if she did not see the message, it's going to raise a red flag.
And weren't the kids with her?
I think so.
Either which way, because he was with Danni, so I'm assuming the kids were with
her or the mom or the grandma, one of the two.
And there was no emergency in regards to those kids that late at night.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Enough for her to show her chesticles. Mm-hmm. Like that is blatant disrespect.
Yep. So I don't know. They gotta figure that out because I don't think she was being insecure. Now he kept saying she going through my phone. No, she said I picked up and answered your phone. She wasn't sitting up there roving through there looking for things. The phone was blowing up and she picked it up. Now, do you think that she should have just left the phone alone?
I guess she would have to kind of figure, would she want somebody else to answer her phone? And a majority of the people would probably say no.
That is true.
So maybe he felt there was like a little bit of invasion of privacy. But at the same time, and maybe she felt comfortable as his girlfriend to answer the phone, but at the same time, that's his phone. He decides who gets to answer it. So I understand both sides, but either which way, it is a known fact that he knows and she knows that ex-wife wants him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. He can stay in denial all he want, but he know that his ex want him back. I mean, it's blatant. If that woman is sending pictures at that time of night like that, it ain't because she's trying to get you to help her pick out a dress for her to go on some date with another dude. She's sending that for you.
Yeah.
So.
Well.
Yes. Well. All right. Let's talk about these men. So, Zach had only a couple of scenes. You know, he was about to chin check Gary, which was hilarious because Zach is always ready to take somebody down. He don't care wherever he's at.
G Unit. He called him G Unit.
Exactly.
I was on the floor.
I know, it was funny. What did you think about there was a cute little moment he had with his son saying that, he started talking about the fact that he used to have a big brother. Now, I don't remember that ever being brought up in previous dialogue with the Zach character of him having an older brother. I could be wrong. But when he said that, I'm like, okay, are they going to bring in this now that he had a brother? And then, of course, he wanted to make sure that he was a good big brother to the new baby sister that's coming along.
That was so sweet. And this is the part where I actually feel very much for Zach, especially what he has going on with his son who has special needs. My son has special needs.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a very sweet moment. I gotta give this man kudos for wanting to be a good father, even to his new baby that's coming. And he's just trying to get his son prepared and ready. It's just nice to see fathers getting involved in their children's life, especially their sons. This is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was a real nice moment that he had. We kind of touched on Gary a little bit with the underwear, but this man went and got in touch with a whole wedding planner. Do you think that there was a connection somewhere back in the day or recently with him and the wedding planner?
No, this man got connections every which way throughout that whole city. It didn't surprise me. He probably had that woman's number and everything ready to go probably years ago. He's not. He's just.
Because she seemed a little loopy, but oh yeah, you got yourself a good one. I'm like, do you really know Gary?
If only you knew.
Yeah, if only she knew, man. Come on. But go ahead.
But this man is used to showing one persona to everybody else and a different persona to Andy and her friends. So that woman wasn't going to know either which way. She's just ready for the man to cut her a check. That's all she cared about.
Yeah. And even like you said earlier, I can't believe Gary actually wanted to smell underwear that is supposed to have quote unquote her menstrual. I'm like, really, Tyler? That's what we doing?
Yeah. That's a bit much.
That was disgusting.
That was trifling. That's who does that? Well, this is 2024. Anything is possible. Up for grabs, really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that was so nasty. And she did it. She did it.
Yep.
Come on now.
She gave it to him. And he got a big old smile on his face. I'm like, God, dog. Anyway, speaking of up for grabs is somebody else getting grabbed. Hayden.
Oh, this is a great scene. This is probably one of the best parts of this whole episode, besides Gary's interaction with everybody. This was hilarious. Miss Marie is running everything. She was not worried whatsoever about Tamara. She came in and she grabbed Eggplant, and the fact that Tamara walks in and said, "Oh my God, you're cheating on me." I'm like, girl. Come on now.
Girl, she
was good.
She's been gutted out by Gary and got the nerve to talk about Miss Marie.
And Miss Marie, the comebacks that came from this woman, she was ready to put the Dukes up. She's like, and the thing is, I think Miss Marie would have gladly mollywopped this girl and handled her all throughout that office with no problems. And she was like, relaxed. She smiled. She's like, I still got it. I loved every bit of that. I'm like Team Miss Marie because I can't stand Tamara.
Well, the thing is, the actress that plays Tamara and the actress that played Miss Marie, the lines were going they were on point with each other. She was throwing darts. She was throwing darts. You talking about geriatric this, she was like, that's the glitter on my kitty cat. All this, so I'm like, what in the world was this crazy?
That was great writing. Great back and forth, great banter from both of the actresses. But Miss Marie, she was not going to play with this woman. I loved every bit of it. And I think she would have took Tamara. would have dragged her all through that office. I would have been here for it. I'm disappointed we didn't get
Girl, the
that.
thing is though, Miss Marie obviously have been in a cat fight over the years because she was like, "Ooh, I ain't had a fight like that or that much drama in a long time." So obviously she's been doing this and sparring with women over the years.
That doesn't surprise me because she's the only person on the show that liked Pam. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe she got
Mm-hmm.
a lot. Maybe she got some Pam in her too.
Yeah, I agree. I'm telling. And in the meantime, Hayden down there, he getting all the feels. They arguing. When her hand was still down there, Hayden's face was like, "Yeah, y'all keep going. She's doing what she do."
Oh Lord.
Oh
And I don't blame
man.
Hayden because Tamara isn't worth anything. She's better on a street corner playing in traffic light, but
Well,
and he
that was
knows
what
that.
she was originally. So the only reason that them two actually came into each other's life in the first place is because Hayden wouldn't leave Zach alone. And Zach was in the beginning of the relationship with Fatima, and Hayden Hayden was trying to undermine Zach and Fatima. Well, Fatima hired Tamara to interfere. She fell in love. He fell for her, and the rest was history. So, because she was supposed to just get him for what he got and ruin him and leave him where he stood. Well, Tamara caught feelings, and so did Hayden at that time. And then they were almost married until Gary interfered with that too.
Well, I would say good for Hayden that Jerry interfered. Could you imagine him being attached to that?
Yeah, but Hayden was being a butthole back at that time, and I was rooting. I was like, somebody need to come get him because he was really, really trying to destroy Zach and Fatima, and trying to come after Fatima to be in a relationship with her and ruin certain things. And I'm like, he getting on my nerves. So both of them need to go
What?
take several seats.
Well, Tamara's been taking seats on Gary. That's why I don't understand why she felt she was getting cheated on.
Well, she didn't want to blow her spot, so she looked like, "Hey, you cheated first. I'm gonna make you pay for it."
I mean, she's just a live-in girlfriend. I mean, he can kick her out at any time. She's no wife.
mm, well, they was, and then she got an annulment, and because Gary told him to, but then he decided to back out. It's something weird. I don't even know if that annulment was completed, because they were married. And then Gary was like, "You don't know her. She's actually this, that, and the third." And so he got suspicious. And yeah, I don't. They never really close up that part on whether they got an annulment. So I don't know if they're still legally married or not.
Yeah, that's either which way they're not acting like a married couple for sure.
No, because she was sleeping with Gary, and he's messing around with Miss Marie. Girl, she want to take him on a whole getaway trip.
And Gary said, "That won't be no problem. Let me get everything arranged." See, he has no problem being sad. Then, good for him.
You talking about Hayden or Gary? Because you said Gary.
Oh, hey, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, good for him. He wants to be at the next step, and good for him.
Girl, he being he being a piece. I don't know about a side piece, but he being a piece of something.
Mm-hmm.
Then
And he's collecting a check from her too.
yeah, he getting paid. He getting paid. And then we kind of talked about Jordan earlier. We had saw the conversation between Rich and Jordan, because he had no idea that Andy was about to get married to him, and he was like, "That don't make sense," because last week he was, they were good, and all of a sudden she finna get married. So people, I mean, you would think Fatima figured that something ain't right about this. The girls is just like, "Oh wow, you're marrying him? Oh, here you go again." Even the rest of them are like, "No, that don't sound right." And thank goodness that's the case. You know what I mean? So that he's
Yeah.
realizing that he's questioning everything. And then we had the final conversation with Rich and Tony. Tony spits some knowledge. Like, look, if you think this girl is the one, and they changed Rich's dialogue because Rich was like, I don't want no kids. Then in this episode, he said he wanted to be in a financially good place for kids. Did you notice that?
Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me because he's been adamant all season about saying he didn't want any children.
Right.
And now, so do you want? Is that why you're still choosing to be with Sabrina? Because every time anything mentioning with the child, all of a sudden anything mentioning a child, he would cringe or he would kind of divert the conversation, or he'll give her like a stupid look on his face.
Mm-hmm.
But he stood 10 toes down on episodes prior saying, I don't want any children.
Right. And then now he's saying, I just want to be in a good place financially. And he was like, you doing better than me. I'm doing a middle income airport salary, and you opening a new location in Buckhead. Buckhead is a very, very well-to-do area of Atlanta. And so he like, what you waiting on? And then he's thinking about it. So I'm wondering if he's going to make it in time, if he's choosing now to say, you know what, I think Sabrina is the one. Because he willing to marry this girl, it sounds like, before this other man seeps into Sabrina's life. If this is what you're gonna do, and she's the one, and you want to marry her, and maybe she should be the one to carry your kid, you better hurry up, else you're gonna end up like Hope Logan on Back in March, saying I love you at the 11th hour.
I think they're gonna do another Who's the Daddy thing. Something tells me because they were sleeping together close in proximity while she was trying to do the hormones and the egg retrieval, all of that. So I would not be surprised if she finds out that she happens to have Rich's baby versus Deontay. I can't remember that man's name.
Mr. D. Mm-hmm.
Mr. D. But once again, it's like the 11th hour, like you kept saying, like, why are you just now realizing this? Like, you guys don't have any conversations about your future, what you guys expect from one another. Like, what? Why does it take Tony for him to realize that? Because it seems like every time they have a conversation, it seems like Sabrina's kind of guilt tripping him. Like, oh, well, he's just going to be the father of my baby. You don't want children. I mean, children are so great. And unfortunately, Rich doesn't want it. And which is fine if that's not what he wanted and that's what you wanted. Why are you guys like not communicating properly?
Right. And that's where I'm hoping, we saw what we saw, unless he going to bust up in that room at the hospital and say, stop, don't do it. I want to be the father or whatever, And I mean, this could have been avoided because it's a stupid storyline to me. I mean, why would you be with somebody who don't want kids and you want kids, and then the other person is going to go outside to get another man to impregnate her, but you're supposed to be in a relationship which he wants to think about marrying her, but she's carrying another seed of somebody else's. When now you get a clue listening to your boy to say, I think she's the one. And now I am doing financially well. Oh, now all of a sudden you want to be a father. Tyler, you screwed that up. He's been adamant about not being a father, and now all of a sudden, I need to be financially sound. So
yeah, that was terrible writing on his.
Yep.
But they just really need to be adults. I don't understand why people just can't communicate on this show.
Yeah, well, that's what keeps the drama going. When you have miscommunication, all type of stuff happens. And that's the thing about, like we were saying about Adam telling lies to two people, but the main person he need to be on the same page with. You know what I'm saying? So if you when you tell stories and don't communicate properly and be lying to folks and not lying to yourself, like Finn, um, you're gonna have problems. You're gonna have problems, and that's problems create drama, and drama creates soap operas. So
And this is just like another soap opera.
it
But I'm here
is.
for it though.
I
It was a
am
good
too.
episode.
It was a good episode. So we're going to end it right here. We actually got in just right under an hour. I appreciate your time,
Right.
girl. We had a good one as usual.
Yes. I can't wait for next week. I want to see if he actually is going to come into that doctor's office and what he's going to say or do. If he's going to propose, what's going to happen?
Yep. Yep. I'm hoping to see. I'm hoping that she get a different outcome and will Mr. D be gone, even though he's very attractive. But I would
Right.
say the better thing, if Rich has a connection with her, he sees her as the one. And you now do want kids. You was just worried about finances. Dude, let's go. Go get Sabrina.
Right.
Go get her. So,
But he has to want to have children.
yeah, well, according to the script, he now wants to have kids. His only concern was his money. So,
Lord.
yeah, he threw that in. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, so. All right, girlie, I'm going to end it right there. I know it's about 11:15 your time on the East Coast, and we had this was a good episode. It was crazy, to say the least. Looking forward to next week. And if you are new to this channel, make sure you subscribe. We do this every week with Sistas. We also have a recap of the daytime soap opera. So if you are a CBS soap opera fan, Young and the Restless, Bold and Beautiful, we also do that as well on this channel. I have 2 separate playlists, so you can check out the Young and the Restless playlist if you're a Y&R fan, or if you're a Bold and the Beautiful fan, there is a Bold or B&B playlist as well. All right. Okay, girl. So I will end it right here unless you got anything else.
Now, stay tuned. Please check us out next week. Stay safe. Enjoy your night, guys.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.